Hello my friends, it's Nina, and for this video we are going to talk all about Webtoon. So if you didn't know, for the last 3-ish years I've been working on a Webtoon. My Webtoon is called To Love and Be Loved and it is on Webtoon Canvas. I make a lot of videos about my Webtoon, whether it's Webtoon vlogs, behind the scenes of making a Webtoon episode, how to draw a Webtoon, all that. So for this video I'm going to go in depth about how I plan my Webtoon, develop it, tips I have on storytelling, and my favorite part of making a Webtoon, character design, and creating the characters. If you want to know all the technical stuff about making a Webtoon, such as the program I use to draw it, materials, specs, etc., you can check out my other videos. I'll just have it in the description or it's on my channel. But without further ado, let's get into it. Planning your Webtoon project. This can seem confusing, intimidating. You might not know where to start. You might not know where to end. How do you even begin planning your Webtoon? So I think first things first, the most important thing to having a Webtoon or a creative project is to have a dedicated, organized place for it. When I started out 3 to 4 years ago, I was just writing episodes in random notes apps, multiple folders, sticky notes here and there, my journal. I would just have all these ideas in my head and throw it wherever. But another problem to that is a Webtoon is such a visual project that I even had to screenshot a lot of pictures, which took up a lot of space on my camera roll. I would have like 10 Pinterest boards. It was just a mess. Eventually, I actually stumbled upon the perfect platform for big creative projects. And if you are a creator or creative, you might have actually heard of this, but it's called Milanote. So now I plan most of my Webtoon on Milanote, and I will actually show you how I do it. It is all right here on my laptop. Here is my To Love and Be Loved board. I will walk you through this board and how I use it. So if you don't know what Milanote is, it is a great tool for organizing and planning your creative projects. Milanote makes starting a new project easy with over 100 built-in templates available for every type of creative project. And again, what I love about Milanote is how visual it is. With Webtoons, of course, there's a lot of writing, but the main focus is the art. Just writing out episodes in text wasn't really efficient for me. I needed to be able to see my episodes and visualize them. I needed mood boards, storyboards. I also just wanted a place where I can switch things as much as I wanted. I couldn't just have a linear top to bottom script. I wanted to be able to, kind of like a corkboard, I wanted to just pin things wherever, order things how I wanted. I just needed it to be more visual. And so writing out my episodes was not cutting it. So when I found out about Milanote, it was actually perfect. It had all the boards that I was talking about. So for instance, this is my main board for To Love and Be Loved. I created this on my own. You can just drag in columns, comments, tables, notes, links, whatever you want. And then another thing that I love are these little color boards as well. So you can just drag in little colors like that. You can just delete it easily as well. Another nice thing is that whatever you deleted or put in the trash is actually saved in the trash, so you can easily go back and retrieve things if you want them back in your boards. But this is my main page. This is basically my dashboard for my Webtoon. I have the synopsis, I have the genres, themes, and I can always just add on to it whenever. Of course, I have my social media. This is just a quick link to go to my Instagram account for my Webtoon. It's my art account, so if you want to check it out, it's right here actually. I have a link to my actual Webtoon so I can access it ASAP. I don't have to go to my internet browser, open a new tab, all that. I can just click right here. It'll take me right to my Webtoon. I also have this board for art, another board for characters and story. So when it comes to characters, I think Milanote is the perfect place for that. I'm going to go into my character profiles. These are the characters that I have for now. And if I just click onto Jihyun, here's the mood board. Creating original characters, OCs, anything like that. It's just nice to have a mood board that you can access whenever. So here on this board, I have the bio. I have a little section to go more in depth about the character, such as story, personality, goals, relationships, map, more scenes and storyboards. I have all of these pictures that kind of describe my character. And what I love about Milanote is all the extra features, such as this arrow here. It really feels like a real life mood board. You're not just posting pictures up here, but you can actually draw on the app. I added these little hearts here. You can highlight things. And for each of my characters, I have a color palette. So for Jihyun, she is a bright winter. I love personal colors and I thought that was a fun thing to add to my characters. It also helps me choose outfits, color themes. Another thing that I have for all my characters is different styles and aesthetics. I think this helps me kind of narrow down what kind of outfits they'll wear. So for example, Jihyun, she has a more chic, modernist, smart, casual style. And I just pulled in pictures from Pinterest that kind of reflect her style, color palette, all that. And then you can add little notes here and there. Another fun tip with Milanote is if you just want to add a random note, just double tap and you can add whatever note. Loves going to the gym. And you can layer these notes wherever you want, just like this.
But wait, there's more, because another useful tool is Milanote's Web Clipper, which is a browser extension that allows you to save images and text directly to your boards from any website, so you don't even have to take screenshots or copy paste. All you have to do is press add to Chrome, and once it's installed, you'll see a save button in the top left corner of the image when you hover your mouse over it. Literally any image. Then when you press save, a window will appear on the right showing your image, and then you can choose which board to save it in. You can also do the same thing with text by highlighting a section, right-clicking, then choosing save to Milanote and whatever board you want it in. You can also enable the selected text pinner button so that when you highlight a text, you can click on the icon that appears and save it even faster. All of your saved content will appear in the unsorted section, and you can drag everything to your board to your liking whenever you want. It'll be right there for you while you explore and do your research.
And then down below, I just have all these random notes. You can add texts and headings like this. That's right, mysterious. Jihyun's a little mysterious too. This right here is a table, and in these little columns, you can add as many notes as you want so that it just builds together and is grouped together, which I think is great for organizing. And then here we have Jihyun's Pinterest board. It's a link and it takes you right to the board. So again, you can also just add links wherever. But Milanote is not only just great for webtoon creators like me, but it's also perfect for creative professionals, teams, and creative hobbyists. Whether you're planning a home renovation or managing a film shoot, you can adapt it to your needs. But there are unlimited possibilities with Milanote. Milanote is available for free with no time limit. So if you want to organize your life and ideas and start your next creative project, you can check out Milanote for yourself and sign up for free using my link right here, milanote.com/ononina, and my link will also be in the description. Thank you so much to Milanote for sponsoring this video and for being such a big help with my webtoon. It just makes organizing and planning a project so much easier and less intimidating. And I will actually create one for you right now. This is the fun part with Milanote. So as soon as you make a new board, it's going to help you choose a template. So if you don't want to just start from scratch, you can choose a template. There's hundreds. So for me, I actually just copy paste the templates that I already have because I have an organized way of doing it. But if you're starting from scratch, you can choose a mood board just like this. And then there's also a bunch of other boards you can choose from. And specifically when it comes to webtoons, novels, comics, whatever project you have, I like to go to the writing category. And then they have all these templates that would be helpful for a writer. So we've got the novel plan template, character profile template. This is kind of what I used for my character boards, and then I just mixed it with a mood board. So here you have tables. You can also add documents, and a great thing is you can just easily drag everything in as well. We got story outline, world building, story map. Another template that I love to use is the character relationship map. This has helped me so much. I have always just had to remember who is related to who knows who's connected to who, and it was all in here. Either that or I would have to draw it out for myself, but I am such a digital person. I love carrying my laptop everywhere with me that I was so relieved that there is a board for this, thanks to Milanote. We even have 3-act structure, which is a very helpful thing in writing. Research board, so you can just throw in whatever for your research. Novel mood board if you're writing a novel. And then a simple brainstorm template as well. So for me personally, I'm going to just duplicate what I already have. And then I'm going to replace this and make this Johan's. We're gonna change the color. Let's just make it like a nice green. I'm gonna change the icon right here to YC. Now that we copy pasted, let's get into it. You can change the view. I'm just gonna, oops. So I'm just going to replace this picture. Johan Choi. His birthday, memorize everything on the top of my head. It's March 30. I just love how you can drag everything and delete. You can move things around. It's so fun to do. We've got Johan's picture there. It just feels more real. Style, his is Gorkcore. And another great thing about Milanote is its drawing feature. You can just straight up draw in your program. I'm gonna use this nice gray color. You can also use custom colors, whatever you want, but I'm just going to go for a solid gray. That is Johan's favorite color. Different things. Just like that. Let's change that Pinterest board. By the way, I am on Pinterest right here. You can follow my Pinterest. I have a lot of public Pinterest boards that you guys can look through. Let's take this out, add a link. We're gonna drag it right in. Add it. So you can have it like this, or you can also click on it and then take out the preview. I just like it like this, it's more clean. We're gonna take out these images and we're going to add in Johan's. I don't need this line anymore. An amazing thing about Milanote is the dragging in feature. It just makes things so much easier. So you can take this picture and just drag it right in. So easy. And it just makes things so much more faster. We're gonna take this one out, place this right here. This looks pretty Johan-y. We're gonna do Dark Winter for Johan. Another thing I like to have for my characters are Pinterest boards, so I can get a visual idea of what my characters look like. And so I'm going back to my board and just gonna add pictures that give me a Johan vibe. Johan loves cats, so we're gonna add that picture. Johan loves loose clothing. This is a perfect picture. And I love how you can just stack pictures on top of each other. It doesn't have to be perfectly laid out. It's just like you're actually scrapbooking. This is just an accumulation of your visual thoughts. And then we can write little notes. Monochrome, comfy. Isn't this amazing? And so I have boards for all of my characters just like this. Let's look at Chanyoung's board. We have his colors. He's a soft autumn, so he loves soft colors. I've got some pictures of Chanyoung here. Other keywords for his personality. I even have character inspiration. And then we have his mood board. And then I'll show you my favorite board that I love to use when it comes to creating characters, the relationships map. So I created this using the character relationships map that is a template on Milanote. You can add in all these lines. Again, just drag, place it wherever you want, connect things however you want. You can add a label, add arrows as you like, bend it, and of course you can also delete. And then here you can see that I added drawings as well, just to kind of make it visually more helpful. You can draw arrows wherever, just like that. Save. Amazing. So now that I showed you the program where I do all my webtoon stuff, that is basically where I do all the planning. When it comes to developing the story, the characters, arcs, episodes, all that, it all kind of comes naturally as you work on your webtoon. The most important part, I would say, for a webtoon is the beginning and the end, and kind of the overall arching idea of what your webtoon's about, because a webtoon itself is different from, say, a novel or a movie, TV show. A webtoon most of the time takes a long time, and the platform itself of reading a webtoon, there's episodes out every week, every month, and not only are you uploading a webtoon episode every week or regularly, you're also getting live reactions each time you upload. So it's not like one singular book where the entire book is out and people give their reviews and the reactions all at the same time. Every week you're getting live reactions, new responses, new readers, etc., etc. And something you'll notice is that your webtoon will go through a lot of changes. Whether it's changes or just adjustments, most of the time change will happen. So I think one of the biggest things to prepare for when you create a webtoon is anticipate change. And so that's why I focus more on just having the overall idea of what your webtoon's about, and a strong idea of the beginning and a pretty solid idea of the end. This is so you don't get lost as you create your webtoon. For me, for example, I've had my webtoon for over 3 years now, and it has gone through so many changes in the middle. But it helps that I have the beginning and the end, because no matter how many changes the webtoon goes through in the middle, I always try to make those changes lead towards that end that I have. Of course, you can also change your ending if you need to, but if you have a good idea of where your webtoon is going to end, you're going to be able to keep the pace with your webtoon. I have changed and adjusted so much because as a person, I grow, I go through different life experiences, I want to add more things to my webtoon, I want to take things out of my webtoon. These are just natural things that are bound to happen when you have a long project like a webtoon. Now, when it comes to the webtoon itself, there are some things you should also keep in mind. So things that I try to think of is the demographic for my webtoon. You know, what is my target audience? Who are my target readers? I honed down on making this a romance drama with a little tinge of... Is tinge a real word? Yes, with a tinge of comedy, because I love comedy, I love lightheartedness, but I wanted to make this a relatable webtoon that is pretty realistic, not really too many fantasy elements, but I did want to add in some fantasy elements as well, just because that's what I enjoy, but it's not a fantasy, obviously, right? So I decided to choose a webtoon that was in real life, that was a romance drama with some comedy here and there, but these are all things that you have to kind of keep in mind when you're creating your webtoon, especially where I publish its webtoon canvas. You are going to be categorized in different genres. So for me, I'm under the romance genre or the drama genre as well. So if you can figure out your genre, then you can kind of stick to it. Think about the tropes you're going to include, kind of figure out what works, what doesn't work. And again, think about what your audience might want or be interested in. And then another thing to think about is the goal of your webtoon or the purpose. I think with a lot of things in life, you just want to have goals or purposes so that you don't get lost and so you don't drag things out or you forget why you're making the thing. storytelling. So for me, I focus on the fact that my webtoon exists so that people can be entertained. I wanted to make my webtoon something that people can consume to be happy, to feel emotions, and to feel like they can relate to it or feel less alone. So that was my purpose. I want this to be something that people want to go back to read. And with that goal in mind, that helps me kind of stay on track so that I don't get too into things that I don't think I need to get into. So for example, I kind of got lost a little bit and I would go into sort of a more dark path with the plot, and I realized, do I really want to be writing about this? Is this what's really a good use of my time? Is this what my readers would enjoy reading? And so if I can remember the purpose of my webtoon, I can think, is this necessary? And if it's not necessary, easier for me. I can just scrap it and just keep going towards that certain goal or purpose. And so at the end of the day, I want my webtoon to not be too heavy personally. Of course, if you want a heavier webtoon because that's your purpose, go ahead. But I just knew that I want to stick to making this a comfort webtoon. That is my ideal goal with my project. If your goal is to shock readers, if your goal is to make readers feel escapism, if your goal is just to show really cool art, figure out that purpose and make sure you accomplish it. Now that I've kind of talked about how to figure out your story and what to keep in mind to keep your story strong, let's move into the characters. So your characters will help your story come to life. They will serve a purpose. They will help you accomplish your mission of what you want to tell in your webtoon or your story. Maybe you're writing a novel. But when I create my characters, the first thing I think about is their personality and also what purpose they serve in the story. So with a webtoon, a really important thing for webtoon creators is efficiency. We are all about efficiency at this point because making a webtoon is very time consuming. At the end of the day, we just want to make things efficient as well. We don't want to drag things out. We don't want to do unnecessary things. We're constantly kind of finding shortcuts. And so another big tip I have is to make sure that your characters have goals or purposes as well. I can get lost with how many characters I want in the story. And so with my characters, I try to think, do these characters have goals and are they going to be able to achieve those goals? If they don't have a goal, what is their place in the story? And so another thing I keep track of is everyone's goals. Like for Jian, for example, she wants to be a film director. She wants to work through her emotions. She wants to become more vulnerable. And there's a lot more that I will keep secret, but I think of what she wants to change, what she wants to accomplish, and I work towards writing her so that she will eventually achieve those. Because with the story, we get from point A to point B. Somehow we need to get to point B eventually. So for every character, make sure there's just some sort of end goal. It doesn't have to be a grand thing, but maybe they just accomplish something that helps them eventually finish the story. Because a webtoon needs to finish eventually. And also think about their purpose. Are they the main character? Are they supporting characters that help the main characters achieve their goals? Are they comic relief? Does your story need more humor in it? Are they antagonists? Are they going to help the protagonist experience challenges, grow stronger? And now that you're finally thinking about this, now that you got your story, now that you're thinking about your characters, character design, and character personalities, we can finally have fun with it. And so again, I use Milanote for all the mood boards. Since a webtoon is very visual, it's nice to have actual pictures of what my characters might look like or just get pictures for inspiration. I can probably make another video specifically about how I develop my characters. But some easy tips, think about maybe people in your life or characters that you know, characters that you enjoy. Try to also have a variety of characters. Sometimes you're going to have to make characters that you don't agree with or characters that might not relate to you or are very different from you. You're going to need to have those characters and you're going to have to look into how to write those characters. A lot of research goes into making characters as well. I have done so much research for my characters. I've studied MBTI, cognitive functions, zodiac signs, character tropes. It's actually a lot of fun. This will also be helpful. Think about characters from media that you enjoy, maybe take some inspiration from them, kind of see how they work, the decisions they make, how they think, how they navigate life. Also other things to consider, height, their aesthetic, their style, their likes and dislikes. Try to just think of these characters as actual people and they will become more tangible to you. Just have fun with it. The more you have fun with it, the stronger your characters will be. And as for character design, that is all up to you. It depends on what genre you're in, but regarding webtoons itself, sometimes simple is best. We can get carried away with what we want to make our characters look like. We can get carried away with the ideal art we want in the webtoon. But again, efficiency. If you are not working with a team and you're working on a webtoon by yourself, try to not make your art too hard to recreate. With a webtoon, you're going to draw the same character over and over. over and over. So make sure you create characters that you enjoy drawing and you have fun drawing, because honestly, you can get bored. And with that, sometimes simplicity is key. You might feel the urge to just create the most unique, complex costume or outfit for them. But if you're not able to draw that same character like 20 to 30 times per episode, maybe adjust it, change some things so that you can do that. If you have all the time in the world, or you are willing to put in the time and effort, go ahead, make your characters as complex as you want. But while you can, before you really commit to it, consider making your characters kind of easy to replicate and draw over and over. And also make sure you make characters that are fun to draw over and over. This is why you kind of have to fall in love with your characters. Treat them like your babies, because you will go through a lot with them. That leads me to another point, which is to be realistic and patient with yourself. Webtoons are a commitment. They are going to take up a lot of time. They are going to take up a lot of effort, energy. So try to be realistic with yourself. Don't make it more complicated than it needs to be. Try to come up with a story that you can eventually finish, and also be patient with yourself. There are going to be lots of times where you have creative block, writer's block, art block. There are going to be times when things are just out of your circumstances. Give yourself the space, patience, and grace to deal with those times and not rush it. Another point, have a healthy schedule with your webtoon. Do not draw for 15 hours straight. Don't do that. You are still a human. You are not a robot. Deadlines can kind of wait. Or if it can't wait, then think of a healthy or realistic schedule. You don't have to be breaking your back to pull an all-nighter or breaking your brain. Something that a lot of webtoon creators deal with, or not just webtoon creators, but artists, comic writers, any creative, they're going to experience burnout. This is a very common thing, and especially with webtoons, because it is such a time and energy consuming thing. We might slip into bad habits, into not the healthiest routines. So try to keep in mind a healthy routine so you don't experience burnout, or at least a lot of burnout. Fit in time to take care of your physical health, mental health, take breaks, have hobbies outside of your webtoon. My hobby used to be drawing, but obviously that changed with the webtoon. So I had to find hobbies that are away from this. I had to find ways to go outside again. I had to find ways to socialize, to be with my friends. I just had to find things that will make me feel good. So remember to make time for things that keep you feeling human, because at the end of the day, you are a human. You are not a tool, you're not a working machine. You gotta take care of yourself. And to add on to that, don't be afraid to ask for help. You might not have the resources to have a team, but if you can find ways where the process is less lonely, or you can kind of distribute the work, that can also help a lot. Maybe have some beta readers. These are people who read your webtoon before it gets published. They kind of give their unbiased opinion, or just act as a general reader. You don't have to keep the webtoon project to yourself, you know? Ask friends to read your webtoon, give their opinion, ask your family, hire a beta reader. If you have the means to, find assistant artists, maybe people who can do the line art, someone who can do flat colors, shading, rendering. Having a person for even just one step of the drawing process will help a lot. You wouldn't even believe how long it takes to just add flat colors to your panels. Maybe I need help. Maybe eventually get an editor. And help can also be in other ways. Have friends who can help you go outside so that you're not stuck working all day. That is also help. Make sure you're not dealing with this webtoon alone. Having other helping hands, other opinions also helps you develop your webtoon even more. Just sometimes you can be so stuck in your own ways that you don't think about the other potential you could have for your webtoon. And I have found it so helpful having other people's opinions. If I do this all by myself, sometimes I get stuck. Don't be shy about your webtoon. Talk about it. And I think my final tip when it comes to storytelling and the development of your webtoon, keep yourself inspired and motivated. At the end of the day, that's the biggest thing, is you just need endurance, the will, the motivation to get this webtoon out. Focus on how you can find ways to keep yourself inspired, motivated, and that again ties in to being realistic with your webtoon, knowing its purpose, creating strong characters that will help your webtoon come to life, being efficient with the decisions you make, and most importantly, focusing on yourself. Do things that you love, watch things that you love, keep experiencing life as a human as much as you can. If you don't live your life, that webtoon is going nowhere. Not just webtoons, but any creative project you're in. The creative juices keep flowing as long as you keep going. That was pretty deep. But that's also something that I figured out a lot with myself. Be confident in yourself, have confidence in your decisions, and if you don't have confidence in your decisions, do the things that you have to so you can get there. And be proud of where you've come. You know, your webtoon goes through a lot. You're going to go through a lot. Just fall in love a little bit with the process as much as you can, because sometimes the process is hard. But I think that is pretty much all the biggest tips I can give when it comes to developing your webtoon. Most of it naturally comes from you. This is a story that might mean a lot to you, and you're going to make it happen. You're going to find the ways to make it happen. But hopefully some tips that I gave here will help you sustain that and just start somewhere. I think the most important thing is just getting your webtoon out, and you'll figure it out as you go. Thank you again to Milanote for sponsoring this video. If you want to try out Milanote for yourself, you can sign up for free anytime. You can use my link right here, milanote.com/ononina, and the link will also be in my description as well. But that is going to be it for this video. If you have any more specific questions when it comes to webtoons, leave it down below. I'll be happy to answer those in future videos. I will bring out more webtoon content, but for now, I will say goodbye. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye, my friends.